what in the fucking Palazzo Versace is going on in this house.
One of the donuts you sit on when you've had your vasectomy.
Mate,
But
mate, I don't have to worry about that.
The Masters is probably the greatest sporting event.
It's golf.
Did you have lots of testosterone flying around your body?
Flying, as you can imagine, mate. What happens if like 10% of the tickets are sold to gay guys who are like, I'm here for the Kylie concert, and then they piss off and then you've got 10% of the stadium empty? Wait, what do you mean menu?
So what they do each year at the Masters, and I'll fill you in because you'll have absolutely no idea.
Make it quick because my eyes are going to glass over.
Well, it's been a massive week in my world, or massive fortnight in my world this fortnight, Elliot. There's the NFL's dropped. It's going to drop September 11 in the morning in Australia. San Francisco v. the LA Rams, which is massive in my world. Big San Francisco fan. Tiger Woods has gone DUI, flipped his car in Florida. So that's...
This is happening often. Tiger maybe needs to get a driver, I think.
Well, how much money do you need before you get a driver?
I mean, doesn't he have a couple $1 in the bank, mate?
He's
The
got a
least he
couple
can do is get him in a Toyota Corolla.
Well, his best mate's Donald Trump, so surely he can get the Secret Service to drive him
Something.
around. Like, he is the biggest name in, well, certainly the golfing world, but you'd go pretty close to be the biggest name in American sport, maybe behind Michael Jordan. The AFL Grand Final start time has also dropped 2:30 p.m, which I think is an absolute disaster on the AFL's behalf. That should definitely go to a twilight. But probably the biggest news of our fortnight cycle. But before we get into that, I just want to talk to you about that star that's on your forehead. What is that?
Okay, so for those who are listening, I am wearing a what they call a pimple patch. So this is actually, shout out to a very dear friend of mine, Michael Porter. This is actually his brand. So pimple patches, Gen Z has got it in the bag.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you ever had bad skin when you were growing up, but
never got pimples.
See, I suffered pimples,
Yeah.
and so sometimes you just have to grin and bear it.
Did you have lots of testosterone flying around your body?
Flying, as you can imagine, mate. So these are pimple patches, and I was explaining to you off mic. These are now like cover-ups that have salicylic acid in them that you can stick on top of your pimple. So effectively, it's a cute little sticker that kills your pimple. Now, I don't want to bore anyone any further than that, but to give my friend Michael and his brand Pimple Patch, literally Pimple Patch, a shout out. Buy them at Woolies, buy them at Chemist Warehouse, buy them at Coles, whatever. And tomorrow, my pimple will be gone.
Well, I thought you must have mastered your somersault at gymnastics because that's what my daughter
It's a gold
gets.
star.
That's what my daughter gets when she does something well at gymnastics.
I wanted to lead from the front here, like as I carry this podcast on my back, I got the gold star for that.
Yeah, only you could walk around with that on your face. But the big news in the AFL world the last couple of weeks, and I know it got dropped a couple of weeks ago, but because it's our worlds colliding, Kylie Minogue has been dropped as the grand final entertainment.
I mean, I don't even know where we start with this because if the show is on the basis of the worlds colliding, Kylie and the AFL is probably, it's written into the pimple patch stars, for lack of a better description, because Kylie, to all of our gay listeners, is an icon. To a lot of our straight female listeners, is also an icon. And so having her at the AFL really goes to show the synergy between two different culture clashes, like significantly. But there has been few and far between acts that have actually been like iconic Australian performers. Like last year we had Katy Perry.
Yeah.
And then I know that there was Robbie Williams in a Delta, so obviously that's iconic. But this is like next level.
Well, last year we had Snoop Dogg.
Year before
that
was too. God, it really shows how many AFL Grand Finals I'm investing in.
But the Katy Perry Grand Final was the first I'd been to Grand Final-wise as a spectator. I'd previously been as a player to 5 of them, but that was the first time I'd been to a spectator. And her performance was off the charts good.
And Snoop Dogg got rave reports last year as well, right?
And Snoop Dogg was unreal as well. I absolutely love Snoop Dogg. But I can understand why he was a little bit divisive in the AFL world. There's a lot of traditionalists in the AFL world, and that's why the grand final time's been kept at 2:30, which I think is an absolute disaster. Because Katy Perry doing her performance was unreal in the daytime. Imagine if that was backlit.
Like,
because
unbelievable.
It was dark.
I think any gig is kind of better in the dark.
And Kylie Minogue, by all reports, had been, no, I'm not performing at the AFL Grand Final unless it's at least twilight. So I'm surprised she's agreed to do it, but she's not getting any younger. And if she wants to put on the best performance, then now's probably the time. But I'm just disappointed that they've stuck to that 2:30 time zone. I think you can capture the northern markets where the AFL is trying to grow the competition if you have a later start time. The AFL as a whole in Australia is bigger than the Rugby League, but the Rugby League Grand Final always outrages the AFL Grand Final because it's a 7 p.m. start.
Yeah, right.
So they've certainly missed a trick there. It's all about growing the game, but they're now sticking at 2:30. And that game I went to as a spectator, 2023, it was Collingwood v Brisbane. Katy Perry performed. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I spent the whole time in the Great Southern Stand, now the Shane Warne Stand, with my arm up, trying to see the ground because the sun was just blaring in. So as a spectator, I think a twilight grand final would well and truly be better as well.
Okay, so on the basis of Kylie now being confirmed those couple of weeks back and segueing into the entertainment perspective, I think what is super interesting, and I just made blatantly obvious when I couldn't even remember who last year's grand final performance was, is that a performer like Kylie is really diversifying the audience who will be watching the AFL Grand Final. So there's obviously the traditionalists who will always go there, but I have been monitoring Instagram, especially when this news came out 2 weeks ago, and since then, a lot of like, whether it be gay men that I know or straight women that I know or like gay meme accounts that I follow or whatever it is, kind of taking the piss, being like, I can't wait to get tickets to the Kylie Minogue concert. And so like, I don't know what this actually does to the sport, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts because say hypothetically this whole new audience opens up, right? So you've got the AFL loyalists who are there every year who are going to buy tickets to the AFL Grand Final. And then you've got these like Kylie Minogue fanatics or any kind of like fanatic of any performer who are buying tickets to go and see the show. The show's obviously at halftime.
No, pre-game.
Oh, it's pre-game?
It's pre-game.
Oh my God, look how much research I've done. I'm thinking about America. Okay, look at my lack of knowledge here. Okay, so that just goes to show my point even more so. If people are going to buy tickets, because it's a grand final ticket, right? You can't buy a ticket to the pre-game
No. So you get
go.
everything all inclusive.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So the expectation is watch the show, stay for 4 quarters of footy, see the presentation and go home.
Chuff off.
And chuff off.
Yeah.
What happens if like 10% of the tickets are sold to gay guys who are like, I'm here for the Kylie concert, and then they piss off and then you've got 10% of the stadium empty?
Well, that'd be 10,000 people, which wouldn't happen.
No, it wouldn't happen.
Because if you're buying the all-inclusive, you're staying for the event, and you might stay till halftime, and if it's a terrible game, then you might leave. But if it's a close game, you're going to stay because the whole day is a day of entertainment. And it's a spectacle that, in Australian sport, to me, is by far and away the best spectacle in Australian sport. It's an unbelievable day, but they've just certainly missed a trick by having it earlier in the day. And it's funny you say that around your mates saying they would come and go. And that's the beauty of getting the right entertainment, is you're bringing a whole new audience to the game. And whether they come on as rusted-on fans, I think, is irrelevant. What they do is they elevate the showpiece day of the year, and then you can take those numbers to sponsors and potential sponsors and all that. So they might not stick on as rusted-on fans, but you're certainly going to get a percentage of them that linger.
It's a good point. And it also shows that the AFL really is diversifying in its entertainment capacity and that it actually does now have the ability to draw new audiences.
Yeah. Well, the AFL for years have tried to get Kylie, but she always said, I'll only perform when it's dark.
Oh, Kylie.
Yeah.
She's fallen on her sword. But this is a really interesting transition into
it is.
What's going on at the moment.
I think the AFL has transitioned, maybe a little bit behind American sport, but socially, they've certainly transitioned.
For sure. So we've seen in the past couple of weeks a concept called the Pulse by Coca-Cola is launched at Marvel Stadium as well. So again, not only to use some things that I've been reading across the past couple of weeks, but also having some friends who went to the launch.
Yeah.
So essentially it is this, I guess, like high energy, social first kind of like bar activation, which I think was really interesting that they said that it was a social first. Like so many people who, what do you call them? Rusted on football fans.
Well, traditionally, the working class people were football fans. So.
And they're going to watch the footy, right? That's the prime purpose. Whereas now, especially what's happening with like stadiums like Marvel, they're really diversifying, showing that they're like a 360 entertainment precinct.
Yeah. And Scotty Fitzgerald, who now runs Marvel on behalf of the AFL, is doing a brilliant job at diversifying it and generating an income outside of its sole focus in football.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not a rusted-on football fan, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't really been to the footy. Like, I reckon I got my MCC membership 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What are we, 2026? No, it must be longer than that, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've never used it, not once.
Yeah.
And I know people who would pay me 10 times over to take the membership, and I've just never used it. But then concepts like this and showing how sport is becoming bigger than the actual game in itself, that it's now becoming like an all-inclusive entertainment offering. So to use again this Pulse by Coca-Cola example, like you can go there pre-game, then you've got like live DJ sets, you've got a hospitality package where you get food and bev. So it becomes almost like this outing that is bigger than the game in itself. You go and have an actual like night out with your friends. It's not just about the footy.
Traditionally what you'd do going to the football is you'd meet at a pub in the city, throw in Young and Jackson's there on the corner. You'd all meet
Young and Jackson on Flinders Street.
Yeah, you'd meet at the pub and then you'd walk your way to the MCG or to Marvel
Is that a footy
Stadium.
pub?
Well, yeah, traditionally probably because you'd all catch
close.
the train into Flinders Street Station,
fine.
then across to the pub, and then you make your way to wherever the footy is. But now these big stadiums, and Stuart Fox, who's at the MCC, have also done it. They've put these high-end restaurants in the stadium. So instead of people going out into the outer suburbs as such, they're making it a one-stop shop. So Adelaide Oval, for example, has now put the Oval Hotel into Adelaide Oval, and it's got the Bespoke Bar there, which is a restaurant and a bar. And post-game, you go and have a nice beer and a wine. And so you're keeping the money, you're keeping the dollar. And the spend per head, I'm guessing, and I don't have the exact numbers around this, but I'm guessing has certainly gone up, especially in the higher echelon areas of sporting stadiums. So, you go to Marvel Stadium, you've got Stoke Grill, you've got Lee Ho-Fook.
Yep. GMHBA has got Chin Chin, which is obviously an icon of like the Australian hospitality industry. So people are going for dinners and getting dressed up and putting more effort into their appearance maybe than they did before at the football. Which
the MCC's got steak bars, they got steak restaurants, all different things. So it's unbelievable now what you can do when you go to the football, and you can take a family, you can take your friends, you can do whatever you want. But it's just providing so many different offerings. And I think what Marvel are doing is, and the beauty and what they can do is because the AFL own Marvel Stadium and they're not restricted by so many things. They've got the Johnny Walker bar in there as well. They can bring their sponsors on and then elevate them in their own stadium.
So I think that we can officially say that footy's bigger than the footy now. Like, if you've got people like Kylie performing, if you've got people dining at restaurants like Chin Chin, who people flying around the world to eat at Chin Chin, and the line down Flinders Lane is like around the corner.
Yeah.
Actually, plot twist for anyone listening: if you want to eat Chin Chin without waiting in line, just buy a ticket to the footy at GMHBA Stadium, and you'll get sat very quickly.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, it's like it's become bigger, and I even think from a fashion perspective, again, what we saw a couple of weeks ago was, for the first time, an AFL club, being the Melbourne Footy Club, rolled into the game against the Blues, which was round 3.
Yeah, and if you used your MCC membership, you could have gone to the game. You could have been one of the 66,000 fans that decided to go.
I could have actually witnessed this firsthand, that the Melbourne Footy Club is embracing this kind of more casual culture, and I without doubt, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that they're taking inspiration from what's going on over in the US, whether it be from the NFL or the NBA, where brands, I know especially, are seeing a significant increase in interaction with imagery of players wearing their kind of designs head to toe, whatever it might be. So this has just become an additional revenue stream and an alternate press and marketing capability for them to be like, oh shit, let's dress that player because that player's got a huge social media following. They've established themselves as quite a fashion icon.
Yeah.
So I'll be really interested to see, this is just, and I see fashion as a form of entertainment within itself, if this actually continues to grow, if any other footy clubs follow in the footsteps of Melbourne. Like, a very good girlfriend of mine, Erin Deering, who has her own fashion brand, Deering, she runs a bit of social commentary on her Instagram page, kind of about everything, really. Everything that happens in kind of Australian fashion pop culture world.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she doesn't give a shit about AFL, but I know she doesn't, because she was like, I don't care about the AFL, but this has got me hooked.
Yeah.
And she was sharing the photos of the Melbourne Footy players showing up to that game. So I think it'd be really interesting. I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I hope that using fashion as a form of entertainment and the footy club showing more personality from the footy players just goes to show that, whether it's a Kylie performing, whether it's a casual outfit from one of the footy players, whether it's dining in a great restaurant, the AFL has now become essentially the kind of entertainment and lifestyle hub of the Australian winter.
Well, unbeknownst to you, this discussion had been going on for a few years about the players rocking up in casuals. And I think the old football world, and not old football world, but my generation, I'm 37. Yeah. So my generation was thinking, this is just too hard. I just want to rock up in my club polo. I don't want to have to worry about what I'm wearing. You don't have to think.
Exactly.
It's like wearing a uniform to school. So, but the new generation coming in, they've grown up with American sport front and center for them. They've grown up, they're the social media era. Yeah. They've grown up with pay TV, where everyone has a KO account or whatever, where you can connect to American sport straight away. Traditionally you needed Foxtel on your dish at home, and where you're watching it, the main sports growing up were cricket and footy in Australia type thing, or rugby league if you're in the northern states.
I love the dish on the roof.
Yeah. So
giving Marge the reins are here, McCain cornet.
McCain, you don't have McCain. But anyway, I think my generation, and I was probably at the younger end of my generation, but the older players that I played with certainly didn't want that at all. But it is now shifting and now changing. And it's funny because clubs usually wear polos to the game. Melbourne didn't get any directive other than they wanted to do it, I don't think. And they got a new CEO, Paul Guerrero. I don't know if he had anything to do with it either, but that's what engages the next generation. And the amount of hits that it's had socially is massive. The question I want to put to you, though, if you're an AFL footballer and you were arriving, what outfit would you wear?
Depends who's paying me. No, I'm joking.
And that's the thing. Like, depends who's paying you. But what's fashion
Max
right
Gorn
now?
was in a tank.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really hone in my evil eye. I couldn't really like zoom in, but I'm assuming it was Lululemon.
Oh, well, he's sponsored by Lululemon.
Correct. So I'm assuming it was.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness,
no, but if you could wear anything,
take my cynical cap off and put it over here, I would wear, I don't know, like those basketballers in the States, they wear some serious kit.
Well,
I reckon I'd wear a suit because it's so different to what you're actually playing in.
Yeah.
Like come in like really sharp, really elevated, beautiful navy suit, white shirt, Goyard, Google it, bag, just like a real flex, beautiful watch, like well groomed, and then get out there and just be like feroce.
So I was on a golf trip in America, 2017, I think it was, and we were drinking at a rooftop bar in New York, and I was with my Hawks teammates at the time. And Matthew Stafford rolled in. Detroit Lions, who he played for, were on a bye week. And he rolled in, and we recognised that he was Matthew Stafford, and he'd played football with Ben Graham, who was an Australian Aussie rules player, a Geelong great player, ended up going to punt over in America and punted with Matthew Stafford. And we got talking about that. And he was there with his wife and his manager and his manager's wife at the time. We ended up having drinks with him for an hour or so and had a good laugh. And he was saying about even just Ben Graham, and it was great having an Aussie on the team because he always wanted to have a beer, win, lose or draw. And he understood the whole team culture aspect of it, where in America sometimes they go and do their own individual thing. We said, oh, what have you been up to today? And he said, oh, I'm pretty sure he said he was shopping at Tom Ford. Does that sound right? Is that a suit? That's suit brand?
On the most expensive scale of suits.
So he goes, I was at Tom Ford, and one of the boys said, oh, what did you get? And he's like, oh, I got this. And they said, oh, yeah, like you got that. Is that all you got? He said, no, I got the whole range. So he got the whole range, kitted out. So from the bye week till the end of the season. So
that's what he wore. He wore Tom Ford the entire time.
Yeah, this was early November. So for the next 8 weeks of football or whatever.
That's a flex.
He wore like an element of the Tom Forward range for the next.
Tom Forward,
whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
Forward like beep, beep, not forward as in moving.
Yeah, whatever it is. Well, he was moving forward in his forward.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, he went and got that. And so I'm not sure if he paid or they paid him to wear it, but he rolled that out for the next few weeks.
Well, mate, I mean, like, let me just answer your question. I'd be wearing Tom Ford head to fucking toe if they were giving it to me for free. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
You know you've made it when you're wearing head to toe Tom Ford.
What I did notice, though, with the Melbourne players is a lot of Louis Vuitton bags.
Oh, mate.
Is that still in fashion,
these
the
boys,
Louis Vuitton?
These boys are loving the luxury. I tell you what, if all those boys, they're loving their logos at Melbourne Footy Club.
But, no, I liked it. And you talk about bringing Kylie Minogue in, you talk about the Coca-Cola bar or whatever they're doing.
Louis Vuitton handbags, Kylie Minogue.
But then fashion, you just bring in different demographics, everything you do. So you're making the sport bigger and bigger, more eyeballs, commercially more things to sponsor, more things to jump on, more brands jumping on this business of sport. I absolutely love it. And I think we should try and nail every aspect of it. And I know we're backtracking here, but I want to touch on the Super Bowl because I think the NFL are the best sport in the world at doing this. And they had Bad Bunny as their halftime performance show, which I had absolutely no idea who Bad Bunny was until he performed. I think he's a gay icon as well.
Is he?
Pretty sure he is. Latino.
He hasn't come quite across my desk in terms of like a gay icon, but
maybe
because I'm not Latin.
Yeah, maybe you're not Latin American. But anyway, so he jumped on board, but I just want to throw a few numbers on you and the impact that this can have. Bad Bunny performed. There was 128.2 million live viewers for the Super Bowl halftime show. Then there were 4 billion social viewers in the first 24 hours. Which is crazy. Insane. And performers don't get paid by the NFL to perform at halftime.
So where are they making their lolly?
Well, where he's making his lolly is he had a 470% increase on Spotify.
Wow.
After the Super Bowl, which was out of control. It is amazing the impact that an artist or someone can have on the sport as a whole.
Can Kylie sell merch at the AFL Grand Final? Because then we're going to have some real diehard fans.
No.
Myself there first and foremost. Being like, thanks.
Well, that's how they make their money. That's how you can support the
Mate,
artist.
I can wear a Geelong scarf and a Kylie hat.
You can.
That's called high-low.
What?
We'll talk about it in another episode.
So we've obviously got a couple of little segments which are a bit of fun, a couple of little games, and I think this is the first time we're running this one.
Yep.
What's this then? So something from my life that I'm not quite sure you'd know. So I've actually brought 2 objects today.
Are they
Because
here in person?
yeah, and they're parenting objects, and I just didn't know if you would know exactly what they are. So I grabbed this one first, and I was like, of course he'll know what this one is.
That's nail polish.
It's red nail polish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know.
Mate, I get my nails done once a fortnight. I
Naturally,
know what nail polish is.
naturally,
how is that a parenting?
Well, because I'm a girl dad, so I am painting nails.
Oh,
So I didn't even think about you
dude,
wearing nail
better.
polish.
Well, I don't know what nail polish
but
is.
when I grabbed it, I was like, of course he knows what nail polish
I'm
is.
not even joking. I honestly thought you were going to be like, and this nail polish is like so we can like put a dot on different dummies so that
No.
the kids don't share dummies or
No.
something. I was like,
So then I brought this.
okay, I know what that is.
Oh, do you?
Because I think you've forgotten that I have a 5-year-old niece and a 3-year-old nephew and
So
a
what is it?
6-month-old nephew. I think it's called a well, you have to describe to everybody first who's listening. So
So
that they can
everyone who's
understand.
listening, it's like a little
Donut? Is it donut?
Yeah, and it's got these little bubbles that you can push in, and then when you push a certain amount in, the others pop out. And it's also not a bad toy for a baby to chew on
Okay,
when they're
so-
teething.
Is it? It's called a pop socket.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Is it? It's like a sensory toy or something.
Yeah, so you're genuinely on the money here. But what I use it for is bloody stress release when I'm about to kill one of my kids. And you sit there and you pop all the buttons and it takes you
it's
to...
a parental toy for
It's a-
stress relief.
It's a
I got it wrong.
parental toy. I thought you were going to say
I'm
it's
sure
like
you're not the
one-
only parent
one of the
doing that.
donuts you sit on when you've had your vasectomy.
No.
But you don't have
Speak
to
for
worry.
yourself, mate.
You
I don't have to worry about
that. But yes, this is a kid's toy that they play with, and I thought it's just a little funny thing because ultimately our kids don't play with it. I sit there and press all the buttons in when I'm about to throttle one of them.
Mate, it's the irony. And so once a fortnight we're doing Seen, Heard and Read. You
Yeah.
spoke about your John Boyne book last week, which I haven't got around to because the book that I started in January is still collecting dust on my bedside table. I need to be better.
Stop watching maths and start reading books.
I'm not even watching maths, which is
Oh.
the worst thing, and which is so funny because we're going to go into Seen, Heard and Read, and you've just actually, I was going to try and be like cultural, and I'm going to actually, you know what? Fuck it. We've been doing this podcast long enough. I'm going to embarrass myself. So, I love YouTube.
Yeah.
It's known in my inner circle that I love watching YouTube. And I don't know whether it's a lack of diagnosis of ADHD attention span thing, but I actually really struggle to hold focus past like 28 minutes. So I will
Did
watch.
you say 28 minutes because our last podcast
It's
was
28 minutes long, and I listened to the whole thing. But in all seriousness, I got in this rabbit hole of watching this YouTube series. So for any history buffs out there, we were both speaking a little bit about, we actually do both quite like history. I am really into the history of the English
Strata
monarchy.
Humus.
The what?
The Strata Humus.
No, not so much. Not so much.
I am at the moment. You try driving from Geelong to here.
Yeah, mate. It's in
Had
your
to take a bank
it's
loan
in-
to get here.
It's in your best interest. You should start V-lining.
Sorry, we're going off track here. I love how the state government have done free public transport. What about the people that don't live near free public transport? And the people that need the petrol, the people in rural areas that don't have public transport?
Can I get back to my Seen, Heard and Read? We know you've seen the news articles, but it's back to what I've seen. Thanks. I have been watching, I got stuck in this 20-part miniseries on a YouTube channel called Royal History. So for anyone out there who loves history of the British monarchy or anything that is like very easily digestible from a history perspective, it's called Royal Upstairs Downstairs.
Okay.
And for anybody who has ever watched Antiques Roadshow or a show when we were growing up at school called Ladette to Lady, it's got Tim from Antiques Roadshow and Rosemary from Ladette to Lady. And they travel around big country houses and castles in England that Queen Victoria visited in anticipation of and throughout her reign. And they recreate food she would have eaten and scenes that she would have interacted with. So upstairs and downstairs. And guys, it could be one of the nerdiest things I've ever said in my life, but I'm not even joking. I have watched every episode back to back over the past week and a half, and I loved it.
I know you said we both love history. I sort of loved what the kings and the princes went off and did. Like, I love the war aspect of history.
Yeah, I love to know what they were eating and what they were
And
wearing.
here you're talking about is the dresses and the bloody bouquets.
And the parties. But anyway, if anyone is a history
Seriously.
buff and they want something that's very easily digestible, and for all of our listeners who travel, it's a great download, 2 eps, 30-minute times 2 on the plane to Sydney.
I really wanted to like go and watch or read or whatever you were going to bring up today.
Okay, well, the other one then I'll finish on, and I won't go into it as great a depth, was last night in anticipation of trying to sound a little bit more like on the pulse. It's just dropped on Paramount Plus is Melania, which is the documentary that Melania Trump's done about herself.
Yeah, right.
So if anyone is wanting to watch that.
What, and how they invested in oil just before they went into
No,
Iran?
it's her lead up to the inauguration. Again, it's a bit fashiony. It's about what she's wearing.
Yeah.
I was like, what in the fucking Palazzo Versace is going on in this house? Like, it is just gold and like so OTT. But I will say she's got one of the best blow waves I've ever seen.
Oh.
So anyway,
Like you said waves.
Watch it. Watch it. It's just interesting.
Okay.
Whether you like Trump or not. I
Yeah.
know he's obviously the most divisive politician in the world, but
Yeah.
like, it's an interesting watch.
Beautiful.
And
Will
develop
do.
your own opinion.
Okay.
And our DMs are wide open. And we've got a few questions from the last fortnight's episode. We'll jump straight into one from Abby. I guess we can both answer this, to be totally honest. We saw Lee, I can't pronounce his surname, but I'm going to give it a crack. Rizwick, last week become the first former player at the AFL level to publicly come out as gay. Does this feel like a significant step forward? Like, good on him for coming out. I would never shame anyone for coming out because it's obviously everyone's journey. I've done the exact same thing as he has. Personally, never heard of him, so I don't think that the impact was probably as lasting on the wider AFL community. But good on him for coming out.
Yeah, good on him for coming out. I had to look up who he was when I first saw the name. So, as you said, bigger the profile, the bigger the impact it probably has.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are young people out there that
who will feel inspired by his story.
Yeah.
And go off. And I'm sure there's heaps of kids at local footy clubs who are feeling much more comfortable in who they are as people. And so, Talib, congratulations, mate.
Yeah. Petra, have you? Petra, I know you've thrown this question to us, and this will certainly impact Elliot more than it'll impact me. But have either of you had any travel plans disrupted for later in the year?
Well, yeah, kind of, but also like at the same time, you know, I'm one of how many millions of people have had their, we just have to be patient as saints.
Yeah.
But like kind of yes, but not really. Like just
first class prices don't change when diesel goes up.
Mate, I think they do. I don't know. It doesn't matter if you're flying in row 74Z or 1A. The prices are impacted either way.
Well, I'll let you know when I'm in 74Z, and you're in 1A. We'll go on the same flight
exactly. We can meet in the middle,
together.
exactly like we did in South Africa when you were at the back of the bus and I was at the front. And we met upstairs in the bar for a few cocktails. And lastly, Harry. So Harry's asked us with the Masters, what would be on your dream menu if you were to be champion? Wait, what do you mean menu?
So what they do each year at the Masters, and I'll fill you in because you'll have absolutely no idea.
Make it quick because my eyes are going to glass over.
So no, it won't, because the Masters is probably the greatest sporting event.
It's golf.
There's so many aspects to it which are unreal. Like, you're not allowed to take your phone into the course, so all the spectators are engaged. You're not allowed to run to a vantage point. You can only walk in there. They've only got 4 sponsors. The broadcasters are only allowed to show maybe 4 minutes of other stuff than golf each hour. Like, it's a very traditional aspect. The caddies all wear white. It's just beautiful. The aesthetics are unbelievable.
Where are the Masters?
Augusta.
Okay, yep.
Your dad's probably a member there. But anyway, so the winner each year, they have a winner's dinner every year. So a champion's dinner. And if you win, you get to go to the champion's dinner every year until the day you die. Obviously, you can't go once you're dead. But what you do, the winner sets the menu for the next year.
Oh, right, fine.
Which is amazing. So like Hideki Matsuyama ran a few years ago and he was Japanese. So he set like a Japanese menu. When Adam Scott won, he set like
an Aussie menu.
An Aussie menu.
Barbecue.
And
Sweet.
No, I think he had like ribeye and all different things, and then had Grange, washed it down with Grange. So it's like pairing the wines and everything with what you're eating, which is pretty cool. And Adam Scott came out last week and said he loves when a Texan wins. If an Aussie can't win, he's always cheering for a Texan.
Why? Because you get good steaks.
Yeah, because he loves Texan barbecue.
Sweet.
And he said a lot of them do the Texan barbecue.
Okay, so
but I have written down.
Hold on, before you answer that, Harry, I've got a copy of Served in Honour of Mr. Rory McIlroy. Is he the winner?
Sorry?
Wait, it says there.
Rory McIlroy. So he won the Masters last year. So if you've got his menu, read it out.
For his appetizers, he's had peach and ricotta flatbread.
Boring.
Who wants that? Rock shrimp tempura, fine,
Yummy.
whatevs. Bacon wrapped dates.
Oh, no,
they're actually kind of yum. No, bacon wrapped dates are yum.
Is that
I'll
Irish
make
thing?
them for you. They got goat cheese in there. Yum.
Oh, yuck, I hate cheese.
Oh, yeah, you do hate cheese.
You
fucking hate everything.
Is that an Irish thing?
Why,
Bacon wrapped dates? Yeah, he's Irish. Northern Irish.
Well, grilled elk sliders aren't Irish because I think elk are native to Canada. Okay, so that's his appetizers. We'll keep moving.
They suck.
First course.
Yep.
Yellowfin tuna carpaccio.
Yummy.
Whatevs. Huh?
Yummy.
Yeah, fine, but like not filling. Okay, and then main course, you got two. Wait, hold on. Oh no, you got 2 choices here. You got Wagyu fillet mignon or seared salmon. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that's hooking me there is the grilled elk sliders.
It'll be a high-end chef cooking it. It's not like they're just going to be rolling out like a burnt bit of steak.
All right, so come on. You're the one who loves the Masters. I want one appetizer. I want one entree and I want one main.
I got 4.
Oh, and he's got sticky date pudding for dessert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got 4 appetizers. I've got 2 mains, dessert, and then a wine to wash it down with.
Oh, shit. All right, off you go.
So my menu, and to start, it'd be a seafood starter. So I'd have like a Moreton Bay bug. So maybe like a bug roll from Rick Shaw's on the Gold Coast.
Yum.
If you could get that shipped in, I reckon that would be on point. Then I'd have like little prawns and oysters with like a nice sauce over
little vinaigrette, perhaps.
Yeah, vinaigrette would be beautiful.
Delicious.
I'd take that. I'd also throw in a bunning sausage for an appetizer because that is just unique.
But could you do it in like a chic adaptation, like little like mini buttered sausage, little chipolatas, what are they called? What are they? Footy franks.
Whatever they are. But I would. That is quintessential Australian.
With onion or without onion?
Onion.
Obviously.
And tomato and mustard.
And mustard.
Yeah.
Fucking oath. And the white bread that gets like stuck in your teeth.
And I had 4 of them this week when I went to Bunnings.
I can tell when you walked in.
They're so good. Right. And then my main would be ribeye, but it'd be ribeye from Margaret, and I'd get Neil Perry to cook it.
Yum. Okay, you're really fucking nailing the brief here. Yep.
So I'd be really happy with that. I'm not going alternate drop. We're just going ribeye because it is properly done.
Alternate drop.
And if
Mate, this isn't a country wedding.
And
you're getting the steak.
And if you're vegetarian or vegan, stiff. And then roasted veg and a nice crisp salad on the side.
Fine, no one touches the salad anyway.
Then for dessert, I'd go a self-saucing chocolate pudding. Which would be delicious with a nice vanilla.
You can take the boy out of country New South Wales. Like, who are you? A self-serving chocolate pudding.
A self-saucing chocolate pudding. Yeah. Have you never had one?
What does it pour the sauce on itself?
Oh, no. The way I'll make you one next time you come to my house. But,
okay, fine.
So you make the pudding and it crisps up as pudding on top, and then underneath when you scoop, it's just all runny chocolate. It's
okay,
beautiful.
Yum.
And then I'd wash it down with the DML, which is Jordan Lewis's wine.
Is this a plug for Jordan Lewis, or is it actually a good wine?
No, just because it's a really good, just clean Pinot Noir. And it's made by the Mount Mary guys.
Oh, okay, that would be a nice one.
And it's just easy drinking, and my mate owns it. So it'd be a nice wine to put out for everyone.
Good PR for Louis to roll out at the Masters.
Nice little story.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that would be my menu.
Well, I'm hungry, mate.
Let's go and get dinner.
And if you're just tuning in, 2 unlikely mates, celebrity stylist Elliot Garno and Norm Smith medalist Isaac Smith are here to tell you what is what.
Hey, no Utes in the Valet.